Guardian. Guardian? Eyes up, Guardian.
Let me tell you, the worst part of these is starting them up. I've been staring at the screen, mouse hovering over the record button for a solid 5 minutes, just going over intros and intros and intros. Then I realize, let's just start it. Let's just talk. You know, you and me. Conversation, a one-way conversation between me, the speaker, you, the listener, and then, who knows, maybe if this thing gets picked up, comments and Twitter/Mastodon replies, you know, there are endless possibilities. But this is Eyes Up Guardian, episode 2, recorded Saturday, December 24th, 2022, Christmas Eve. Sorry, it's very early in the morning. Early as in 7:30, but no. So this week, not a whole lot, and yet a whole lot going on. Sorry, had to get a stretch in. Again, no TWAB. There won't be one until the next year. So really, all we have is this week's seasonal quest line, and it doesn't do much in the way of advancing the story with Rasputin. Instead, what it does is it kicks off the new exotic quest for the Pulse Rifle Revision 0. So the idea here being that Rasputin has an orbital station just outside of Earth, and we need to go rid it of the Hive/Fallen alignment that is fighting under the thrall of, who is it? I think it's Xivu Arath and Aramis, which is an unlikely team-up, because, well, I guess it does make sense in a way that Xivu Arath would be working for the Witness, because the Hive Worm gods are essentially creatures of the darkness, capital D, darkness. So, while you wouldn't think a Hive god would have anybody above them, the Witness is the only logical choice. It's the only one that makes any sense. So yeah, those two are teamed up, and we're seeing a shift in Destiny's story where it's no longer, humanity, the Guardians, consisting of Exo, Woken, and humans, Exo, and Woken, fighting against literally everything else. Now we have lines being drawn as far as light versus dark, where we have the Vanguard, which is, again, our Guardian forces, teamed up with Cabal, the Elixni, former Fallens. We have a House of Light there. And, of course, we have Queen Marasov and the Techians and the Reefborn fighting with us. And on the other side, we have the clone Cabal army of who's Keitel's dad? Emperor Callus. There we go. So we have Emperor Callus, we have Xivu Arath's forces, and then we have Aramis with her fallen forces off of Europa. And then, of course, we have whatever army of pyramid ships that is coming with the Witness. So they're really ramping things up, and I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to have something gigantic happen at the end of this season that sets things up for Lightfall, and Lightfall is really going to be where, again, we're put on our back heel, and we have to really scrap together and work to push back this onslaught. And it's been a build-up that's been coming for, when did Destiny release? 2014? So what? 8? No, yeah, 8 years. It's been coming. So it's exciting to see, it finally pay off. And again, Bungie's been killing it with the story. I'm not a fan of the model that they're using, but it makes sense. They for whatever reason, decided they want Destiny to kind of play out in real time, which we saw with the Rasputin strike on the Almighty, where it took literal hours to do, and my wife and son mocked me as I sat there rapt with attention, looking at a sky with very little changing. So that gets us back to what we have this week. This week we need to get into that orbital station and commence Operation Seraph's Shield, which it just now dawns on me. We're protecting the Seraph, which is Rasputin, and eliminating these forces of darkness, which is where our tangent went. So the mission itself is just, it's so good. It's so good, you guys. It kills me. I have a friend who did play Destiny, but he fell off and doesn't play it anymore. And I really, really want people to get into this game and experience things the way that I experience them, because that's just so good. Essentially, Operation Seraph Shield is a mini version of the Deepstone Crypt Raid. It is completely soloable. I've beaten it like 5 times this week already. But you go... Where does it begin? I think it begins in EDZ. Yep. And then you go down into Rasputin's bunker, and there is a orbital elevator. And much like Deepstone Crypt, you shoot up to this space station, and the first thing you see is just this amazing shot of Earth, and then the Traveler, and then you realize just how friggin' big the Traveler is. And it is just an amazing visual. And of course, everybody's still debating where is the Traveler and the Last City located. Is it somewhere near the Cosmodrome? Is it somewhere near South America, based on what Amanda Holliday's lore cards say? We don't know for certain, and we finally have this chance to see and confirm, except there's every cloud imaginable surrounding, any identifiable features. So, go screw yourselves, guys. Last City, we don't know where it is. So anywho, it again functions as kind of a mini raid, so it uses a lot of the same mechanics, where you have the operator buff, suppressor buff, and scanner buff. And you got to work your way through. And this then ties into, again, that exotic pulse rifle revision 0. And after completing Seraph Shield for the first time, you get a craftable version of the gun, break it down, and then go back to the Mars Enclave, where you can make your own. And the weapon itself looks like it's tied to continuing weekly quests. There are 3 additional modifications which unlock the rest of the mod slots for the gun. So if you're like me and you've been using it almost exclusively since obtaining it, because it's a dream to shoot. It feels really, really good despite the low ammo reserves. Completing additional content throughout the coming weeks looks to be the way to get it upgraded. And that also then ties into the secret quests that we've been aware of for the past couple of weeks, where there have been these giant yellow nodes floating around. Where have they been? Europa, the Battleground Heist, and not the EDZ, not Nessus, the moon. So Europa and the moon. And there's 50 of these things overall. And they unlock, if you can get them all, the coolest looking Sparrow I've seen in a very long time. And I want it so very, very badly. It's like if Batman and Rasputin got together and they're like, we need to design a really, really cool hover bike. And it just, I want it. I really, really want it, to the point where so you can get 38 of the nodes right now. I'm going to use the term legally, but legitimately, there we go. You can get them legitimately, the 38 of these nodes. Of which I've written a guide. Head over to Pro Game Guides to find 38. But there are 12 on this Operation Seraph Shield mission. Now, 6 of them you can glitch around and take out, which I did, because there are just a hair over 900 people that have completed and retrieved this sparrow. And that involves using like eager edge to zip past certain electric barriers to get these nodes, and then a little bit of breaking, going through walls to view them. And there are 6 remaining for me that are just inaccessible, and I've looked high and low and I can't find a guide on where to clip through the wall to get these remaining 6. I did find a spot after you get off the Elixni ship and you go into orbit. There is a spot where you can climb under the orbital station and work your way around. It's completely out of the way, but it looks like the area is designed for another mission. But if you keep going off the beaten path, there's this huge open section where you can get in, and it actually puts you through a wall. And then you can view kind of how Bungie designed this map and this level, except for where the bulk of the core gameplay takes place. And so I spent probably an hour just walking around and trying to figure it out, and I had no such luck. So the Sparrow still eludes me, but not that it matters a whole lot, because we'll probably see on Tuesday a continuation of this story. But the funny thing is, there are about 900 some odd people that have unlocked this Sparrow, what also means they've unlocked all 50 nodes. And there's a door inside Seraph's Shield mission that requires all 50 nodes to be open. And what's funny is they've gotten into this room, but there's another door that requires additional security clearance. So Bungie kind of had an idea that people were going to break the game and get past this, and they're like, no, you're not spoiling these secrets for anybody. So a big part of Seraph's Shield is getting this additional security clearance. There's, I want to say, a half dozen doors, which would make sense with how many nodes I need that require this additional security clearance. So I'm kind of chomping at the bit and really want to explore. Again, I'm a simp for Rasputin, so I everything about this season is clicking for me. So you go ahead, you complete that, and then again you get this Revision 0 pulse rifle. The pulse rifle fires in powerful 2-round bursts or 4-round bursts. Now I have to test with it additionally, because I did reshape it once, and my ammo capacity dropped from 44 rounds with the 4-round burst to 22 rounds with the 2-round burst, so that's a difference of, well, it's about 11 shots each. So I guess it's the same. It just was, with the 2-round burst, it feels like I'm constantly having to reload this thing. So I would definitely like to get a mod that replenishes the magazine as I land, like precision shots. I forget what the mod name is. But I'm really excited to work with this gun because it has intrinsic anti-barrier rounds. But so that then leads into a little bit of my frustration with the season and seasonal models when we have these champion mods, is that they are heavily focused on primary ammo weapons. And so I'm running dual primaries and then of course a heavy weapon, but that leaves me in a pinch when I run into like orange or yellow bar enemies and I don't either A, want to blow the heavy ammo I have, or B, I don't have any heavy ammo. And so having something like a shotgun or a glaive would be super handy, but you can't trust other people to run these anti-barrier mods or, unstoppable mods to clear things. And with the Battlegrounds requiring anti-champion mods, it's more imperative than ever that we have something that's able to take care of all these champions. So running dual primaries doesn't feel good, even though I'm using 2 of my favorite weapons. I Revision 0, and then just yesterday I finally was able to gather enough patterns to craft the Ikelos hand cannon, and just it feels so good because that's always been my favorite legendary hand cannon since I got it in the Warmind expansion. So it feels good to shoot. It has great recoil control and can tear through things with its void elemental, but again, I'm kind of at a loss when something with a larger health bar, and knights particularly this season are a pain in the butt because they'll just constantly rush you, and I don't have much in the way of slowing them down. So yeah, that's where we are in terms of the weekly story. I did try a solo run at Spire of the Watcher, and I'm both happy and sad with how that worked out for me. I was able to get to the first boss without too much of an issue, which involved a lot of puzzle solving and running the pipes. It's more an endurance test, I'm finding, than anything else. So I was able to do it. It took me a little while, but I got up to the first boss fight. And again, I'm able to do the mechanics, but where I ran into an issue is, so the boss, after you load like these 4 power cells, he'll come out onto a platform, and much like the Garden of Salvation raid, this big flippin' Hydra will start rotating its wings, and on its wings are a bunch of weak points. You have to destroy these weak points to then make him vulnerable. I don't have the DPS to destroy these things quickly enough to then make a meaningful window into the damage phase. I can make it to damage phase, but I'm not doing a whole lot. Whereas people can do it in 4 to 5 rotations, it would likely take me 20 plus. It's just, it's a battle of attrition, and I'm doing something wrong, because it's not only a matter of finding something that can do heavy damage to the boss and then clear these nodes. It's a matter of being able to deal with the mobs that are just constantly spawning. So what I found like would work best for me in that instance would be equip Le Monarch, because that, for the most part, one-shots any of these adds, and I could kind of keep the area clear. But then when it came time to do the boss damage phase, I was reliant on, because Le Monarch's the exotic that I have equipped then, a legendary machine gun, which, again, if I'm... The other big thing is time. It operates on a very short window to destroy all these nodes and do your boss damage. It takes me about a clip to destroy all these things, and then I have to reload, which wastes precious seconds. And the boss is constantly moving away. I need to watch some videos, and Esoteric's probably already done it, but I gotta figure out a better solution, because I'm at 1596, so like I should be able to do it. The other concern then is if and when I finally do clear this, the first boss solo, the second boss is just going to be a nightmare. It's like the first boss fight, but it's all hopped up on goofballs and other words for drugs that I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot of good content here, and I definitely am enjoying my time within Destiny. I also did manage to nail my Starbaker title. I'm hoping to get that gilded today after I'm done recording. I don't think I'm gonna use it because I have the Gilded Ghost Rider, which just, it speaks to me on another level. So yeah, but I've found a renewed interest in tracking down and completing these seals. So like, I want the one for Season of the Seraph. I want the one for Spire of the Watcher, and it's really given me a renewed interest in the game, because it feels like, I don't know, I never viewed seals as something like attainable, because the first one I got was Dredgen, and it just took fucking ages to do. But now, for whatever reason, I feel like if I focus, I can get these taken care of. And so the Seal Collection is something that I'm actively looking at, which then means that I'm spending more time playing Destiny and not really touching much else. Like, we're going to veer off into non-Destiny content. But side segues and sidebars, they're fun. I've really gotten into building gunplay models. So little Gundam model kits. I had built them when Gundam Wing was first airing on Toonami way back when, what was that, 2002, 2003, so like 20 years ago. And I would buy the model kits, and I had one for each of the 5 Gundams, and then I had the Tall Geese 3 model kit. Was it Tall? No, it was Tall Geese 2. No, it was Tall Geese 3. Yeah, love the Tall Geese 3 model. Anywho, I didn't think my hands were steady enough to do the model kits any longer, but I decided, you know what, I'll buy one and try it, because I've been collecting the Tamashii Nations Gundam figures. But there's only so many of those. I've bought them all, and I'm both proud and disturbed by that fact. But anywho, I picked up a couple of the model kits and found out, I can actually put these together. They're fun to build. It's like a cheaper version of Lego because they're only $25 a kit. And then at the end, I have a cool little Gundam figure. So I've been buying several of those, and then I bought New Gundam Breaker on Steam, which is essentially a game that is about collecting these parts and putting together Gundam models. It has a multiplayer aspect, but I imagine that's long since dead because this game came out several years ago and all the reviews say it was garbage. But there's a mobile version that I had been playing until I lost my progress, and that irks me a great deal, where you're progressing through this just super generic, like, it's a high school club where you build these Gundam models, and then you're working your way up through these tournaments and leagues and collecting parts and building your own Gundams. But this is just a PC version, this Gundam Breaker. So that's a very long way of me saying I have a game that I really want to play, but I am not touching it because I'm spending all my time in Destiny. And same applies to like Remnant from the Ashes. A friend convinced me to pick that up, and it's fun, it's enjoyable. I like playing, games with friends, but it eats into my Destiny time, and my Destiny time's like, no, you need to live here to do all this stuff, and that's not even to mention World of Warcraft. And it's like, gaming today is such a problem in that it demands so much of your time. So many games just want to keep you in their ecosystem, and it sucks. And I miss, like, even single player experiences. Like this year I had Gotham Knights and God of War Ragnarok. They are massive time investments in and of their own right, minimum 30 hours. And it's just a lot of time when you're competing against like a live service game. And so like, I look at my total time played. So the last 2 weeks I've put 65 and a half hours into Destiny 2. A lot of that's going to be idle time because just for work, if I'm writing an article, I need to pull up information, I'll just leave the game running. My total playtime is 1,260.4 hours, which I understand is not a lot when you compare it to other people, but still, that is, let's break it down. Let's do some quick math. So 1,260 divided by 24. That is 52 days divided by 7. 7.5 weeks just straight of me playing this game. So it's a lot. And again, there's highs and lows. There's, as the dude would say, strikes and gutters. But it is definitely taking up a lot of my time, especially as I strive to do more of these involved goals. And it helps having a clan now. That's part of the Dad's Destiny group. That it's guys that are similar age, similar life experience, and having a core group to play with really helps. So just good and bad thing. It's trying to, like all things in life, find that balance. But that's going to wrap this episode up. Again, we'll be back next Thursday. I did try to get this out earlier, but I still feel awkward about recording around other people. And so when my wife's home, I just tend to put it off. So she's at the gym this morning. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's get this recorded. Let's get it done and out of the way. So ideally, again, I'll record next Thursday and we'll have our third episode up. And this will be a trilogy and it'll be on par with Star Wars, and I can put it to bed knowing that I've accomplished great things in my life. But otherwise, we'll talk to you next time.